Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Packer Universe podcast, aka the Pup List. We're a Green Bay Packers fan podcast, bringing you topical and relevant Packers news, along with our most humble, subjective opinions. This is episode 296. We're recording this on a Wednesday, November 20th. 2024. We're coming off a great Packers win against the Bears. Looking forward to the 49ers this Sunday afternoon in Lambeau. This is a video episode, so if you're listening to this on the podcast version, please head over to YouTube, search Packer Universe, and we'll be there looking right at you. I'm your host, Tay, and joining me on the comm in the video is our one and only
Ren. What up, Tay? How you doing on a Wednesday night? Literally, Tay, 1 week from tonight, we'll be talking about another game tomorrow. So we got a lot of football, Tay, in a little bit of time here over the next week. And we got some turkey to eat in a short period of time as well. So how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's Wednesday, November 20th, and we're finally starting to get winter here. I wore my winter warning hat, Ren, because it's actually snowing in northeast Wisconsin right now. Clearly putting a divider, and fall is done. The good fall is done. The bad fall is here now until wintertime. So we're getting our first snowfall in the Green Bay area tonight. So I don't know. That's just kind of, it stinks. We did have a great fall. So gone, I think, are the games, those like really, really nice fall games at Lambeau. I think you're going to get, generally colder games at Lambeau with crappier weather. But other than that, Ren, I'm doing great. I just want to remind people, last week we had Joey Christopoulos on as a guest. He's our resident Bear fan analyst from south of the border.
Analyzer. It's analyst day, but
yes.
He's probably feeling all those weird words about it right now himself.
Oh, he is. And obviously we follow Joey on X and a couple other places. And, after the game, I kind of got to see him and doing some, video content with some of his co-workers, so to speak. It was gold, man. To kind of revel in the Bears' misery this week, it was pretty great because clearly, for most of that game round, we were thinking, no, we're not going to win this one. I can't believe the Packers are playing this terrible to lose this game to the Bears. We said, in our episode last week, there was no reason the Packers should be losing to the Bears team in the state that they are in. And, it comes down to literally the last play. So, going into the last play, the last field goal attempt, we thought we were going to lose. But then, Ren, this happened.
The Packers block it, and they're going to
win. So good, Ren. That was amazing. I still can't believe it, but you know what? Our first takeaway, which we put out after that episode, kind of captured the feeling we both had, which was like, ew, like that didn't feel like a win. but
yes,
and
we'll take that. Like just like
Matt
LaFleur. What did he say?
All right, but I'll tell you what, we talked about competitive endurance, and that was a competitive-ass game, and it went down to the final play, so give it up for yourself.
He says this. Sorry.
First of all, we will never, ever apologize for winning this league. Never.
So
there you go.
Yes, he comes out. Probably the first thing he says to the team is like, we will never apologize for winning. And you know what? I had to tell myself that too, Ren. And I'm sure you had to tell yourself that. I'm sure everyone out in Packer Universe had to say that to themselves because you know what? You never apologize for winning a game. And we did. We beat the Bears again for I don't know how long the record's been, Ren, but it feels great.
It is in the record books. Nobody's won 11 or more times in a row in the series. That was 10 was the max. Now it's 11. So the Bears have a long, we're going to be like 300 years dead before the next Bears team gets anywhere close. But this is a Bears team that petitioned the league about, was that whole play on special teams illegal, because they went maybe over the long snapper a little too much, or, coming into the line was a little butt push. But yeah, they petitioned the league, and then the league goes around and gives today, somebody pointed out astutely, Carl Brooks special teams player of the week. So I think the league said, good play, reward. So
Yep.
More tears, Chicago. What a whole thing that was. But when you're on this end, Tay, it's pretty sweet and it tastes real good. And our Chicago folks, Joey included. Ooh, that's a rough feeling. Back to the viral, it's Randall Cobb kid and everything in between again. It's just it's just life and poetry, Tay.
Well, and honestly, for reals, this game was pretty important, I think. What was at stake in this game was, getting or staying up at the top of the NFC North. I mean, that was huge, right? And even in the NFC in general, you didn't want to lose those games. You didn't want to lose this one to get yourself out. So it was big. And yes, the Packers had to correct a lot of things going into this last stretch of games this year, but I don't know, it just kind of feels good. So I'm not apologizing. I'm not gonna go there anymore. Yes, the Packers have a lot to work on. I want to see a complete game, like you mentioned in the first takeaway. You want to see the Packers put together a clean, complete game with everyone, all three phases of the football. Will we see that this weekend? I don't know. It remains to be seen, but hopefully that they can do that, because I don't know. I think a lot of people this week were talking about that and how the Packers don't seem to be in position with the eye test to make a run like we did last year. Now, it could still happen for us. We could put it all together, but that's what people are saying they're worried about. And right now I kind of believe it. I agree with them, because I really will only believe it when I see it. And I just hope it starts this week against the 49ers, Ren.
Tay, I mean, this team can definitely do a lot of things. I mean, when you look at the offense, you break the offense down, the skill position guys, the way the O-line's played, the running game, Josh Jacobs has been great. It really comes down to, the red area where they still continue to not be good.
Right. And
then, untimely penalties and Jordan being a little bit iffy with the football. Otherwise the offense is good, Tay. I don't see a lot of issues. I think an offense like theirs can go deep in the playoffs. It really comes down to the D-line play has been really, really hit and miss. The linebacker play has been not great, as we know. Mm-hmm. You're talking about Quay Walker. Unfortunately, he's being talked about everywhere, how bad he is. You brought it up when we did our first take on the Bears. I mean, it's evident to anybody with a set of eyes in their face. It's not good, and it's got to change. When they don't give guys like Cooper as much time, they've got Keyshawn unfortunately playing too much on the outside. It's not working out the best. Stokes shouldn't play. Valentine should be out there. He's more effective when he is. You look at those positions and they fixed the back end, the safety room, Evan Williams, and obviously Professor X. They fixed that in the offseason, and everything else doesn't look great on defense, man. They can't get any pressure on the quarterback. So
are you saying, and I've heard this before, where are those rookies that kind of shined, after a few games in the season? They came out and they played great, but then all of a sudden they don't seem to be put in as often as we want them to be. So I'm assuming you agree with that. And do you think that would be a turning point? Let's get Quay out of there or phase him out until we need him or he proves himself? What are you thinking?
I mean, I heard stuff this week, Tay. It's so bad with Quay Walker that he shouldn't be starting at all. I mean, it's done. It should be obviously a mix of Cooper and Eric and anybody else you want to insert in there. I mean, you've got a guy, Tyron Hopper. They haven't played at all. Why not try something else? I mean, they have other options, and and Quay just generally anywhere in the NFL, 31 other teams wouldn't start anywhere based on the play. And it's unfortunate, he was taken in a position where they really wanted him to work out. And then you take another one, basically the year later or 2 years later, and Quay is in a spot where it seems like they missed on that one big time. And, sometimes you swing and hit it. And sometimes, unfortunately, this time for Brian, Quay's a miss, man. It's just not going to work out. Yeah,
I agree. His first year was his first year. Second year was decent. Like we thought we had promise in there. And then I think he's progressed since then. I think he's just kind of becoming a liability. He's not attacking the ball. He's not making quick decisions that he should be. And just he seems to be out of place a lot.
He takes terrible angles.
Yes. Yeah.
Awful. Yep. Like never will get there. It's just, it's brutal to watch, man.
And I guess like Cooper to me is kind of that MLB that you want in there to groom as the starter. Hopper seemed to me be a little green. Maybe he needs some work, but I think he's an attack kind of linebacker like I think Quay is. So I'd say get Hopper in there and see what you have. There's no reason not to. I mean, the amount of plays that Quay gave up for us against the Bears proved that you need to try to do something different. And, the Packers are classic conservative with that kind of stuff, playing these guys until it just, I don't know.
Way too slow, man.
Smacks them in the face. But
you got to take him out. I mean, maybe he's a great guy, but this isn't about, who somebody is. And again, sometimes when we do this, it's hard you feel like you're picking on the person. You're not. You're looking at it from, football fan aspect, and it is what it is. But Quay Walker should not be starting in this league, not for our football team or anybody else's. And, they got to make a change. They got to, and again, you talk about it, they bring these rookies along too slow, get them in there. I mean, Evan Williams is playing how many percentage of the snaps? Same with Edgerrin Cooper, stuff like that just shouldn't happen. Javon Bullard, just get those guys in there more where they need to be and move along. And that's why you drafted them, right? They're in their prime. You control them for 4 years. Go.
Hey, we brought in Alex Magoo again to the practice squad. I don't know. He was flipping and flopping. I think he got one gig out, maybe in New York or something. But he still came back to the Packers on the Packers practice squad, and he was still lining up as a wide receiver.
Mr. Magoo. I don't that one. Normally we would talk about this anyway, but it's
funny, isn't it?
It's interesting. Like, wow, I mean, somebody must like him out there. Hey, come on over, have some breakfast a couple days, and we'll let you hang out on the P squad for a few days. And, it won't be long, but, we want to say hi and, we'll go
but
on.
Why? Why? I mean, he was a quarterback. That's where he got his accolades. That's where he was best known for. He switches over to wide receiver. We have plenty of those, but I saw somewhere that maybe they were targeting him as a special teams person, but what would that be on special teams? Is he?
I don't think
is he a trick play? Is he?
It's just
is he the new Taysom Hill
thing on the practice squad? No, nobody's quite that guy, honestly, and that's pretty impressive. He made something out of this, and now it's like what 6, 7, 8 years later. Like you're like,
yeah.
I mean, wow, what a game last week with all the different wrinkles that guy brought to the stage, and he's kind of like a throwback player from, like, it seems like the 1960s. The guy can play here, there, or everywhere, and make something of it. Again, it's impressive. It's cool.
I mean, he's on the practice squad, Alex Magoo. It's not going anywhere, but that just brings up the question. I think, like, they have Malik Willis at number 2 quarterback. Obviously, if something happens to Jordan, Malik goes in. They probably have a game plan set up for him specifically. And the last time it happened, it seemed like the offensive line, the whole offense themselves clicked into that mode and were able to be successful with that offense. And so in regard to that, like, I don't know. I'm just not seeing what I want to see out of the offense and Jordan Love right now, especially when Jordan's kind of making those mistakes now that we were early in the year. We're like, yeah, it's fine. He can make those mistakes as long as they're scoring, 30 points. It's fine. The defense can hold them back. It's okay. We're that's acceptable. But now it's like, ooh, dude, you just got intercepted on the 1 yard line. you took points off the board, and we need those points. So I guess in that breath, I was just kind of thinking out loud with, Malik Willis. You have him. Why don't you put him in? Put both of them in. Have Malik in the background, and the defense won't know what to do with him. And do some tricks and stuff, and maybe you have some trick plays, not necessarily a Wildcat version, but change it up a little bit once or twice a game. Put both of them in there, and see what happens. I mean, I just wish the Packers kind of opened up their playbook a little bit with some stuff like that could get the job done, or to really put the defense off, especially when you have a quarterback, a QB2 that can make things happen and can be successful in a normal running game scheme. So I don't know. I just thought I'd bring that up. I don't know if you have a comment on that, but if you do, you can bring it in. But otherwise, we can move on. I just was like, they should do something. Like, I always want the Packers to do something like this, and it'll never happen. But it's kind of fun to think about.
I think that you're right. The fun play aspect of you had two of those guys in there with Malik and Jordan at the same time. Yeah, you can throw that in once. That's like your unscouted look once in a very great while. But I know somehow you're Malik truther, Tay, because you got number 2. I don't know if that whole number 2 thing in your household just got some kind of a mystical, magical energy over you. Malik's a great dude. We loved what he did for 2.5 games this year, but not the same if Jordan's clicking, man. And I think we're really close to seeing the offense have a full game, and it's going to be fun because we see what obviously Josh has been able to do as a running back with the game. We see, how Rashid is playing, protecting Jordan's blind side, and the guys, Christian 150 last week, Tay, on four catches. Bears fans will tell you one of them wasn't a catch, but they're wrong. It was reviewed, so it is what it is. They can cry wherever they want to cry, but you gotta start spreading the ball around. If Matt's calling a better game, obviously not the game we talked about in the first take last week, pretty blasé. Get those tight ends back involved. Maybe Malik gets out there and one for you, Tay. Gives you a little look. By the way, no more end arounds, Tay. None. No, done. That is the worst play. Do you remember when the Packers with Jordy Nelson, they used to love to throw this little bubble screen almost behind the line of scrimmage, and they'd run with it, and then eventually it didn't work?
Yeah. That
is the end around for the Green Bay Packers. Like, stop doing it. I hate seeing it. It doesn't go anywhere. It's awful. I don't care. Christian's running it. Jay Reed's running it. It is terrible. No more end arounds. But again, that said, this offense with the whole Matt LaFleur piece, if he's in his normal bag of tricks, they can move the football with the tight ends, with the skill position guys. Got to get Wicks a catch here sometime to get that guy going, just because, man, those hands have been bad all season. But other than that, I don't have any concerns about the offense. I really do with the defense, with being able to get pressure on a guy. We're about to play the Niners here. Let's maybe transition to them. But the 5-5 team fighting for their playoff lives. Crazy to talk about a 500 49ers team the way they've been. Maybe a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover after they lost again in the Super Bowl. But if the Packers don't get pressure, Tay, on Brock, he already has a top 3 time back in the pocket because he's got people like Trent Williams who may or may not play. They're going to need to, because he also scrambles at a better rate than literally all but 2 quarterbacks in the NFL. And I don't know, Caleb Williams, a rookie, went for 71 on him last week, looking really good on the ground. So, and we know how good the Packers have been at that, ever. And then you talk about another Niners quarterback who could do that to you. Yeah, it's about the D, Tay. Not having Jair. Again, talked about the first day. Do you think Jair is ever going to be healthy for the Packers, Tay? What are your thoughts? When I talk and mention Jair Alexander, again, basically the only Packer didn't practice today, Tay. They're really healthy. But other than Marshawn Lloyd now being on the non-football injury list, that was the only other one on the list. How you feeling about Jair Alexander?
It just sucks. It's too bad. I mean, it really is, for all of our sakes, even his. It's like, dude, get out there. This is what's happening. and it will result in eventually us getting rid of him. Like this is the MO of the Packers. They see a good veteran that they paid a lot of money to, give a contract to, and then all of a sudden he's like doesn't show up. He can't be available. And then they just kind of phase those people out. I mean, David Bakhtiari. I mean, the list is long, and this is what they do. So yeah, first in line now, Jair Alexander. He's going to be gone because he can't stay in the field. Aaron Jones, another one, right? Like if Aaron Jones can play 16 games, I think he's signed. And Jair, he's not out there, and that's a big deal. It just sucks. Will he be healthy this year? Yes, and there'll be one more time where he's on the field. But then again, flip a coin, Ren. I mean, shoulder, groin, or hamstring, whatever you want to pick, it's going to happen. So it's inevitable that he is going to be let go of the Packers in one way or another. It stinks because he is good. I think he's regressed, for the last couple of years, but partly due to his availability and just not being out there. Is he that shutdown corner that we had 3 years ago? I don't think so either. So it just kind of sucks when you have a player like this who is fun, exciting, a little dangerous, on and off the field. He people love that, and teammates love that. And when he's gone, I think we're gonna miss him.
Yeah, I think we'll miss character and what he brought to the table for the short period of time when available. I like Jair again, the character, the player when great, but it's been so long time. I mean,
yep.
Inevitably, where else do these things go? But you got to be able to be out there, and if you're not, it's time to move on. And that's one place in the draft last year you just wonder again, like, wow, they missed the boat there. I understand they went with Jordan Morgan, but really could have used another cornerback in the first round. Personally, when you look back at it now with how thin they are, and they took Kalen King. Is Kalen King still even on the practice squad? I don't know. But if he is, I'm surprised he hasn't at least got a look. If you want to check that out. But man, they really, that when we get to the offseason this year, regardless of the outcome, that is definitely a place they're going to need to look.
The Niners, Brock Purdy, he's been playing really good for them. I think I think, I know I've said this before, a bunch of other people said this before, but I think he is a game manager, and he can kind of like use that as his like cover, and then he can explode out from that and be like, and just get you. Either it's a scramble or it's a really nice pass for a touchdown. You're like, dang, did that really happen? So he is dangerous, and he's playing good football. I know that like a lot of his passes are not like far. He's usually like under 20 or something, but still, when you talk about the Packers and sometimes how they can't like cover tight ends and in that 5 to 10 yard range, that's gonna be a problem. So Purdy, I don't fear him, but I'm just a little nervous because of what he can kind of bring to the table with his versatility. And then you were saying our defense. Well, their defense is decent still, and Nick Bosa was out in the fourth quarter, and it hurt them big time. So now he's potentially going to be out, which would be great news for the Packers. And I don't really care about that. I want to get their best. I just want the Packers to look good again. And if Nick Bosa's out, I'm all for it.
Yeah, you don't root for that because the dude's a force, man. He's got 7 sacks already through 10 games this year. When Bosa's on the field, yeah. and I know Shanahan doesn't like to say much. He's much a not go as a go, which means like sometimes he'll push through that. I don't see what he does. He's got oblique and hip injuries. It's going to be tough to bounce right back from that. The guy is a gamer, so you never know. But if certainly Joey Bosa's not out there, is it Joey or Nick? I think it's Nick with the Niners. But regardless, Bosa's not out there. It's better for the Packers, and again, you don't wish it on them, but hey, beating the 49ers, has been a thing that's not been that easy, unless it's the regular season for the Packers the last many years. So in the playoffs, no dubs, and you and I got to see a tough L against the Niners a few years
Freezing
back in the
temperatures.
playoffs. So it was not good.
Yeah, and that brings up the point. We lost because of special teams. Then we got Rich Bisaccia in, and then the Bears game we won because of special teams. And who would have thought that was going to come around?
That's maybe their first special teams win that I can. Well, I suppose there's a lot of walk-off kicks. So what am I talking about?
Yeah, but this was like kick prevention. So I hear what you're saying. Kalen King is on the practice squad still.
All right.
He wears number
I'm
34.
He hasn't got a look.
5'11". Yeah, I don't know. Where's that dude? I don't know.
So at this point, obviously, when we think about Stokes, I mean, he shouldn't play at all. I mean, he's not going to be on the team next year. Why not have Kalen King in for a few, pieces here and there, just to get a little feet under him, unless he's terrible. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. He's still in the practice squad, so you'd think he's not the worst. I mean, Alex Magoo is on the practice squad, so who knows? But
true story.
What can you tell me about the Niners? Otherwise, Tay, do you know a lot about this 5-5 49ers who lost to every team in the division this year?
Ooh, that's good news. Just generally speaking, I mean, they didn't have a lot of their playmakers early on in the season. I think Debo was out. What was the other one with the contract extension or the contract issue?
That'd be your left tackle. I think, did he start right away week 1 though, Trent Williams? Or was that a couple weeks?
No, it wasn't him. It was.
Or are you talking Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah, Ayuk and Debo.
Ayuk also had one.
Yeah, but then you have George Kittle, who was also out for a little while. He's back, but now he's still injured. That dude is like our Jair Alexander, I think. But Kittle is saying that.
No, he's played a lot more. And when he does play, man, he loves to kill the Packers. Tay, he's got a bit of a hammy right now, but George Kittle is like a Packer destroyer. Like that guy,
and that's what he's saying. He's saying
Packer fans hard.
He's saying, I want to, and I'm probably going to play against the Packers because you cannot pass up playing the Packers. And I wholeheartedly believe him. That dude loves to rip us up, and he's the perfect weapon to do so. I mean, honestly,
he kicks our ass, man.
We got Xavier McKinney, Professor X back there, watching that deep ball. So that could happen, but probably not. You're looking at underneath.
But what linebacker is getting associated with that this time around? Is Quay getting some Kittle assignment? Because that better at least. I mean, Eric Wilson's not great at it either, but I don't like that middle of field piece there, Ted. I don't at all.
No, me neither. But when you look at the stats across the board, the Niners are pretty comparable to the Packers right now, and in some categories they're better. I think offensively they're just above us. So this team, might be 5-5, but I don't think they play like it, honestly. So this isn't like a 49ers team that's down and out that's coming into town. This is a 49ers team that can beat us easily if we don't prepare for this game and just kind of double down on getting things done on the execution level. And if Matt could just please put together a really good game plan against these 49ers. Shanahan in his sleep can, program and get a game plan ready for the Packers that can work. And so it's like you just want the tables to turn with that and have Matt LaFleur do it. Yeah. It's just so easy for him. So where's that for Matt LaFleur? That would be just a signature piece just to dismantle this 49ers team with a game plan. And I would just love to see that. So hopefully that can happen, Ren. I mean, it's possible that the Packers can do this. I'm hopeful. I'm going to pick them, but I'm not really feeling great about it right now because this is one of those, like, I don't know what to expect from the 49ers because everything has to be on the table with possibilities from them. I'm just going to go out and say I mean, the Packers probably put up 24. 49ers, I mean, I just said I was going to pick the Packers, so 24-23. They win by a point again for the second week in a row, but this time they beat the 49ers. I don't know.
All right, I'll take it. Do you know the line, Tay?
No, I don't. Gonna guess Packers are at home, so at least get 3. And this team, I think, compares to them well, I would assume, in Vegas's eye. So I'm gonna say 3.5 Packers.
You had to go back one. So they're not getting the home cooking 3, Tay. Getting 2.5.
Wow. Okay. That's tight. That's tight.
I mean, you've got a 5-5 team, lost every team in their division. Another in-conference loss would not be good for the Niners. Essentially, the Packers could potentially put maybe an end to the Niners season with a win at Lambeau.
Sure.
I mean, they go to 5-6. Again, they're already in the bottom of the division. That could be a really tough place to climb out of for them. As we know, they've got Juwan Jennings, their other receiver there. Obviously, Ayuk's out for the season. Debo's not quite Debo anymore. They put a chokehold on their long snapper a couple weeks ago, Tay, if you didn't know that.
No.
Their whole operation in Tampa was bad a couple times. They have this kicker there, Moody, who was drafted in the 3rd round a couple years ago, who's only kind of and we drafted one later than that, and they're kind of banking on this guy.
Okay.
McCaffrey's been back for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Not super productive. Since then, Tay, that other back, Jordan Mason, everybody in fantasy is like, I wanted Jordan Mason. He's had 3 carries in those 2 games back, and he had 700+ yards rushing before that when McCaffrey was out. Like, what is that?
Wow. That's bad decision.
The Niners, not good decision making, I think, on Shanahan's part, but their D-line isn't what it once was. Their defensive backfield is actually in a lot of categories pretty top 10 in the NFL. I think this is a game the Packers legitimately should win, something like 27-17 against the Niners. They're beat up, man. They've got a lot of injuries, a lot of important positions. We mentioned Bosa, mentioned Trent Williams with an ankle, Kittle with the hamstring probably will play because, again, we mentioned it. He loves to murder the Packers. And even Brock Purdy, he's got his throwing shoulder. He's got an injury this week. He did not practice today, I believe, or he was very limited. That could pose a problem. So, we'll see what happens with that, throughout the course of the week. Again, he's been very efficient. I think Purdy's he's got all the good aspects of Jared Goff, protecting the football, the accuracy. Again, doesn't go downfield deep. But then he's got that ability, unlike Goff, to move outside the pocket and hurt you with his legs. So he's just a great game manager, like you mentioned. And, you got to be careful of the Niners. They, a lot of times over the years, we know they're kind of like our super villain, the Niners.
Nemesis.
They've always got our number, when it's been painful and we've went to bed really upset. It's always been the San Francisco 49ers. And most recently last year, with some self-inflicted wounds by Jordan Love, Dre Greenlaw, who is still out for the season, coming back from an injury last year, and I think in the championship game when he blew out his ACL. So at least he can't pick off Jordan twice. But, yeah, the Niners always get us, man. So it's always kind of like the boogeyman's in the background. There are boogeyman, the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. That one game you referenced earlier in the episode when we went to, it was the NFC Championship, or was it the one before that? We played the Niners. It was the game before that, divisional, I think.
Divisional round when they
were here. It was freezing. It was absolutely freezing. Looking ahead at the weather for this Sunday, we're going to get maybe cloudiness. We're going to get mid to maybe just lower 40s for high. This is it will be a night game. When they finish, that could drop into the upper 30s in temps. This is football, though. This is good weather. I don't see any problems. If you have like weather or precipitation, maybe introduce some issues. But otherwise, this will be, if it's just cloudy and those temps, there's no problem. Both teams should play just fine. This is a home game. Are you going, Ren?
I am not. Nope. About
Very
out of that
well.
one, Tay.
Are you,
Thought about it, could have, but did not. For a
There's-
lot of different extracurriculars around that.
there's two games you mentioned, obviously, back to back almost. We got the Thanksgiving game in a week from tomorrow. So they got 2 games pretty close together. I'm glad they're at home for that. But next week, you and I will try to squeeze in a game or another episode. Sorry, not a game, another regular episode. But we will do the
Not a
first
game.
takeaway after the 49ers game for sure. But I don't have anything else about the Niners game. Oh, I know. Before we get out of here, that viral clip that you mentioned earlier off mic, Ren.
Yes.
When we were talking about number 2 and Rasheed Walker, this is the viral clip by Matt LaFleur yesterday, or was it today? Was it today? It was today. It was the press conference today.
Yesterday, but
Yeah, it doesn't matter. By the time you listen to this, you will have known and heard this already. But
it'll
here we
been
go.
tomorrow.
I always tell them, I don't want to pat you on the butt and you poop my hand. So that's an old line that with some other words, but that was the PG version right there.
Huh? What?
Are you familiar with that one, Tay?
I am not, but I mean, I get the gist of it, of course.
My hand, I think he means to say.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with that one.
I'm not familiar. I guess it's something you say in the locker room, a coach to player, kind of like relationship. Whatever. That's cool. And I get the gist of it, but I don't know. Anyway, that one is going to be probably in a repertoire for a while. We're going to have that on hand every once in a while, Ren. I'm just going to come out with.
I always tell them,
in hand.
I don't want to pat you on the butt and you poop my hands.
Love it. That's our coach, man. That is our coach. All right, Ren.
And like Joey said, hey, at least he'll curse, Tay, because if you're in Chicago, you can't even do that.
No, not allowed. No fun zone.
No fun
All right,
zone.
Ren. Well, let's get out of here. I appreciate you joining me tonight. And I want to thank everyone for listening, everyone for subscribing, and following us on our socials. Been trying to put more content out there for the people everywhere. So go check us out. Obviously, we have a website, PackerUniverse.com. Follow us, and we'll be back after the Niners game with our first takeaway.
Until episode 297, Tay, on the pub list.
I always tell them, I don't want to pat you on the butt and you poop my hand. So